Welcome back to the Between Sundays podcast, a Christian podcast that explores the gospel message and encourages holding God's word close to your heart between Sundays. It's Nathan and Ryland again today. We're back with another part. I guess we didn't really say this would be a series, but another part to our thought on how to, looking at different things in the Christian aspect or the Christian walk, and really giving you a how to do those things rather than a just here's something to do. On the last episode, we talked about how to pray. Today, we're looking at how to fast.
Yeah. Again, you hear on the internet, you hear in your church, you hear in, watching YouTube studies or whatever, you hear the term fasting, you hear stories about people who fast and they, all these great things happen in their life because they fasted. And you're like, well, how in the world, how do I get there? How do I fast, and how do I get to that point to where I'm doing those things correctly? So I've been in the same boat. I lived like 12, 13 years of my life before I knew what the heck fasting even was. And so I hope this episode can really help.
Yeah. It's definitely something that isn't really talked about too much. I feel like it's one of those things that kind of just gets brushed over. So hopefully, like Ryland said, we're going to try to give you a little bit today to help you understand better, and then maybe even push you towards that being something you implement into your Christian life.
Yeah.
So we want to start by looking at the book of Daniel in chapter 10. Really kind of gives us a good biblical definition of what a fast is. So we're going to be in chapter 10 of Daniel, going down to about verse 3. And it says, I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all, till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. So there we just kind of get what Daniel did for his fast. And I looked up kind of what that really meant, because I'm going to be honest, there's some of the stuff that I'm reading, I'm like, I don't really know what's going on. And so the internet describes this as a selective fast, which was just removing all of the king's food, the rich food, meats, anything like we would consider like a pleasantry. I think that's the word Ryland used in our planning before this, a pleasantry.
Yeah.
From his diet, and only consuming, simple things like vegetables and water and things like that for a period of about 3 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, that, it's not explicitly stated there, but we can draw the conclusion that the definition of what a fast is that it's I have it as a voluntary abstinence from something, most commonly food, in order to humble yourself before God. And it just shows, and what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to, when you're in this fast, right? Say it's like 9 a.m. is when you usually eat breakfast. And you wake up at 8:30, you take your shower, you do all those things, right? I know that's a crazy late time to wake up early, but you wake up 8:30, you get showered, you get ready, and you get ready to eat your breakfast, and you're like, oh, well, I'm on that fast, right? What you're supposed to do is you replace the time. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan. You replace the time that you usually eat with, like, reading scripture or time in deep prayer or things like that. And it's just pretty much saying, like, hey, what my flesh desires, what my stomach desires doesn't matter. I'm going to feed my spirit instead of feeding my temporary earth body.
Yeah, that's really like how I look at it too, is like when you feel the urge to eat, right? And I've done a couple of fasts before, and I'm normally not like oh my gosh, I need food every 3 hours or whatever. But during that time of fasting, my body, it like kicked it into overdrive and was like, I need food every 3 hours. And so, during those times when you are fasting or whatever, really it's whenever you feel the urge to eat, or whenever you feel the urge to go to whatever it is you've decided to cut out for your fasting, you replace that time, like Ryland said, with, reading the word, praying, just doing something that's going to draw you closer to the Lord rather than giving in to whatever you've decided to cut out for your fast.
Yeah. We just wanted to get that. We wanted to kind of preface the episode by just doing that, defining what a fast is. We don't want anybody, I was telling Nathan, we don't want anybody to listen to the how-to part and not know what a fast actually was. So
Yeah. And so we're gonna keep this episode kind of structured the same as we did the last episode on how to pray, with starting by providing a non-example, and then rolling into the example part again, like we talked about on that last episode. I learned better with a non-example first and then an example. I'm hoping maybe this will help too. This is going to sound very similar to our How to Pray episode, because it's kind of the same structure, same idea here of some of the same themes showing up. So we're going to be in Matthew chapter 6, and then we're going to read verses 16 through 18. We'll start in verse 16 with, "Moreover, when ye fast, be not as the hypocrites of a sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces, that they may appear unto men to fast. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But thou, when thou fastest, anoint thine head and wash thy face, that thou appear not unto men to fast, but unto thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly."
yeah. So again, like Nathan said, I'll read the point that I had of what not to do, and then we'll counter that with what you should be doing. So when you fast, don't make your fasting obvious. I mean, this is the same kind of thing we saw with how to pray, right? Don't make, I don't want to say don't make your prayer obvious, but don't go over the top to where you're only praying for people to hear you. Don't fast just so people know you fast, right? Even if you are fatigued or hungry, don't make that fact known, right? Don't go around, sucking in your cheeks to reveal your jawbone, or sucking in your belly to reveal your ribs or whatever, and talk about, oh, I'm so tired, I'm so hungry, I'm just worn out from this. I'm on this 24-hour fast. I'm so hungry. All these things, right? If you do that, you're a hypocrite. That's what the Bible describes you as. You are being a hypocrite. And again, like Nathan said, it's the same type of hypocrite that we read about in the How to Pray, because these hypocrites, they'll fast to let others know they're fasting, and that's a big problem.
Yeah. Really, I mean, it comes down, I had a just simple point of don't do it for show. Again, like Ryland just said, you have people who will fast and then they'll walk around and suck their gut in and try to show their ribs off because they want everyone to know they're fasting. It's not about anybody knowing that you're fasting. It's not about, being able to brag to people saying, "Oh, well, I've done 4 24-hour fasts." There's your reward when someone says, "Well, hey, great job." It's like with the How to Pray episode, "Hey, great job." That's what you're getting out of it. You're getting the praise of the people rather than the approval of the Lord from whatever it is that you were doing. And again, it's about heart posture. It's about what you're wanting to get out of this period of fasting. Again, it's not just a period of not eating. I think we get that kind of confused.
Yeah,
sometimes
definitely.
When we talk about fasting, right? You'll get people saying, "Oh, well, fasting is just not eating." No, fasting is more than not eating. Fasting is replacing, we talked about it at the very beginning, replacing the urge to eat, replacing the body's physical, natural urge to need to eat with the spiritual, I'm going to tap into what the Lord's got for me. Yeah. I'm going to read his word. I'm going to pray to him. I'm going to do all of these things. That way my spirit can get fed before my body gets fed.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, I think if you're doing it for an outward show, then you're not doing it at all. You're not doing it for the right reason. You're not going to get anything from it. You're going to leave that 24-hour period hungrier than you were during the 24-hour period, if that makes sense.
No, I get it. I'll share this anecdote. It was some time ago, and there was an issue in my life, and I talked to Nathan about it, and he was like, "Well, maybe you should go into a fast." And I had never really fasted before, and I'll say this now because I don't feel like the area of my life is really affected anymore. But I fasted about it, and I spent time in deep prayer with the Lord, and after some time, there's the thing I fasted for, started to, I don't know. I don't even know how to word this. Nathan was like, do you want to tell this person, do you want to tell, Joe Doe here that you fasted about this scenario? And I was like, well, not really, because, if I tell them that I fasted for this very scenario, and they're like, oh, well, that's so sweet of you. I can't believe you did that. Again, that's the extent of my rewards. We see that in verse 18, it says, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. I would rather receive the rewards from the Father who sees me in secret than, a pat on the back, a kiss on the cheek, whatever, just because I told everybody in my grade that I fasted.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we've kind of hit the non-example part of like, hey, don't do it for the show. Now we're going to get into the like what you're supposed to do, right? And that starts there in verse 17. It says, but thou, when thou fastest, anoint thine head and wash thy face. Clean yourself up. Don't, like Ryland just talked about, don't walk around letting everybody know that you're fasting. Don't walk around and the only thing you can tell people is, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. They're going to automatically know, hey, he's not eating. So don't let yourself appear that you're fasting. But then it says in verse 18 that thou appear not unto men to fast, but unto thy Father which is in secret. And thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Right? I had a simple point that says just do it for the love of the Lord. Do it to grow that relationship with the Lord. Again, it's not about the show. It's not about, Ryland coming up and slapping me on the back and saying, great job on that 24-hour fast, man. It's about the Father looking down and saying, you took something that you needed and that you really, relied on, and you turned it over to me and said, I'm going to get closer to you during this time rather than, feeding your physical body.
Yeah. I like the simple do it for your, faith in Jesus. I had it as just put on a good appearance.
Yeah.
It says put oil on your head and wash your face. Again, nobody should know about your fast besides you and the Lord, right? Just like, we don't like to share the very intimate details of our personal relationships with other people, right? Nathan doesn't go around talking about the intimate details of he and, his wife's marriage life. I'm uncomfortable here just discussing it. Like, he doesn't go around bragging about it and talking about all these things, right? No, and similarly, we shouldn't go around sharing the, super like intimate details of our walk with Christ. I'm not saying you can't like ask questions like I did with Nathan or discuss things with like your pastor or something. Like, hey, should I, fast in this scenario? All these things, right? But don't go around with a big sign on your head that's like I'm fasting. Don't act all gloomy. So what I just had is put on a good appearance. Just be normal, right? That's what I had. Just be normal. Don't just like my normal outfit is a t-shirt and shorts and white Crocs. That's what I normally wear. So I'm not going to go around and, slap a bunch of dirt on my shirt and, whatever, just to make it super obvious that I'm fasting. I'm just going to be normal so that nobody really thinks anything of it.
And again, I think, Ryland has talked about how he came to me and asked how to fast. I told him the same thing. I'm like, this is what I did. If you do it, cool. If you don't do it, cool. You do whatever works for you, right? I think that's the thing of a lot of this stuff, right? Over the course of however long we do these how-to things, the thing that I think we want to get out the most is do it whatever feels natural and whatever's going to put you in the best heart posture towards the Lord. Don't do it because two dudes sitting here recording a podcast told you to do it. Don't do it the exact way that we tell you to do it. Don't do it in well, you have to do this and you have to fast for 24 hours and you have to do this and you can only drink water and all of these different things, right? It's what do I naturally run to, right? My favorite thing in the world to drink is Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke. There have been times when I'm fasting where I will draw the line at like, hey, I'm only allowed to have water. Like I can't have a Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke, but I can't have it. But there's also times where I'm fasting and I'm like, hey, I'm just going to cut food out. If I want a Diet Coke, I'll have a Diet Coke. It's whatever feels natural, but also whatever feels like you're going to grow the most with it. It's not not a show, not something that you can put on your resume whenever you apply for a job, completed 24-hour fast. Like it's not about that. It's not about any of the show aspects of it. It's about the growth of your relationship with the Lord. And I think that's the point that a lot of people miss, is that it's about growth. It's not about show. It's we talked about it with prayer. It's about growing. It's about getting deeper and closer to the Lord. Well, guess what? Fasting is the same thing. It's about getting deeper and closer to the Lord, rather than putting on a good face, or putting on a face of, I'm lacking something.
Yeah. I can't help but look at this note that I had, not from what I prepared for this episode, but from when I read Matthew chapter 6 on my own time. And Nathan, you may remember this one because we covered this not too long ago. But I just had that, no one should see it, but they should be affected by your actions. And I think if you do fasting right, maybe they didn't know you fasted because you didn't tell them. You shouldn't tell them. But even if they didn't know you fasted, people around you are going to feel the effects of you having a better relationship with the Lord. It's just how it works. So, again, if you want, I think some people, they fast just to tell people they're fasted because, oh, well, I want the people around me to be happy, all these things. But if you earnestly fast, your relationship with Christ is going to grow, and by default, you are going to be a beacon of light to everybody around you. So,
absolutely, I like that. What a way to close it. I think that's. I don't really have anything else to say. I think that's a great ending point, right? Just do it to shine your light for the Lord. But we hope that you have enjoyed this. We hope that these are helping you, maybe challenging the way that you think about some things. We've hit 2 of them. I'm sure there'll be more in the future. But you just stay tuned. Stay doing whatever it is you're doing for the Lord. Don't let us make you change anything, but also don't let us not push you to do anything.
Right.
But we hope that you've enjoyed this. We love you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. And just remember, hell's hot and heaven's not. We'll talk to you next time.
See ya.